All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of The Sportsmen. I'm the big ticket. That's Joey D over there, Cold Cuts. And below me, we've got Mikey V. Boys, big week. We had Masters week. We've got playoffs coming up, a lot to talk about. But let's jump into what everyone wants to hear about, and that's Masters and how our bets went. Joey D, how was it for you? How was your weekend?
It was good. I mean, I don't know, when most people like to do the matchups. I like to do the daily matchups for the round rather than throwing all my money on like a winner. I got banged because I was ahead by 2 in my matchups. And both guys, I had Phil Mickelson against KH Lee, and he was up 4 strokes, and they suspended play on Saturday because of bad inclement weather. Then they ran it back on Sunday morning early, and he was absolutely horrific. I think he went like 3 over or 4 over in 9 holes to end up losing, and bogeyed on the 18th to lose it for me. So I was pissed. And then I was even more pissed than to watch him run it back like he was fucking back in the 80s or early 90s, and he shot 7 under, and he couldn't do it for me. But anyways, that's not the. I ended up doing okay because I live bet John Rahm when he was down 2, and I should have hammered it even more. I thought it was a great Masters. Bob had a bet for Sahith Theegala to come top 5, and when we were watching it, it was like 8 guys who were in the mix to finish within the top 5. So it was like every second highlight was another guy who was like 6 under, or 7 under, or 5 under. So I thought it was very entertaining, very exciting. I hit a Smigsy. I went into the clouds, and I had myself a great time.
Do you think you could survive without being upset at something? I think you're happy when you're upset with there's always something.
He survives off chaos. He survives off chaos. Yes. He thrives on chaos.
I mean, life is a consequent series of ups and downs. No one's always going to be happy,
You're never happy.
I think Billy Joel said that.
Mikey V, how'd the weekend go for you, brother?
No, I mean, I had fucking Brooks Koepka plus 4,000. Guy had to lead the entire fucking tournament wire to wire. And he fucking blew it on Sunday.
Now, why didn't you hedge, Mikey?
Nah, hedges are for your yard.
That's
fair enough, but I mean,
really not the first time
you could have thrown like a little bit on John Rahm.
I sprinkled. I had Rahm to finish. Top 10 minus 110 or top 5 minus 110. But the golden goose was Brooks Koepka to win the whole thing plus 4,000. I thought those odds were ridiculous when they came out. I thought I could exploit it, and exploited I did. But then
you could have cashed out on the DraftKings.
No, the problem is these jokers in front of them were just slow playing, man. These guys were slow playing. Speed it up, man.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Cantlay. Do you see there was a thing on Zyre Golf this morning of how long this guy took to tee off on one of the tee boxes? And it's like 30 seconds before he fucking finally tees off.
I mean, that's me, but that's me on the golf course. Maybe I take 45 seconds, but I'm a newbie to the game of golf. These guys should go out there and just rocket the ball. And they said that Koepka and Rahm spent 97 total minutes waiting on the tee box throughout the entire round.
They had a 5-hour round ticket for 2 players.
I know. That's fucking wild.
That is unheard of.
And I hate to be this guy. I don't usually need to see credit or whatever, but I'll say it just because Mikey V took Brooks Koepka. I said on the show last week, man, and I don't know a whole bunch about betting, but one thing I do know is this guy the last couple of years, you give him a major, he will fall apart. Brooks will blow it. He's mentally in his head. And on Sunday morning, I thought, man, I'm dead wrong. Mikey was right.
He looked good in the morning, and to finish off the third round in the morning, he looked good. And Rahm was actually missing on the putts. And then Sunday afternoon, it just topsy-turvied itself.
He blew it, man. He absolutely
probably because I had to leave the house and not watch it on television and go to a restaurant. That's probably what it was.
Mike, you can't do that.
Yeah, I have no choice.
Oh no.
Well, the stars are indeed not aligned.
You owe Brooks an apology.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let me go give him an apology after he collects his $1.5 million. If he could send me the $8,000 that I would have won if he placed him first, that would be. Then I give him an apology.
That would have been sweet.
You want to talk about another guy who shit the bed, who was someone I said where I was right. Now I'll say where I was wrong. Sam Burns, and he's one of our guys. I love the guy. He's such a sweetheart, and he was so funny. But man, did he fucking let me down. I donated money on his behalf.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you saw him. He didn't show up for us.
I thought the craziest thing out of the entire weekend is that Phil.
Yeah, Mickelson was crazy. That was
somehow ends
him
up
and Spieth together.
Ends up tied for second. Spieth. So I was saying to Bob, some of these golfers, like Spieth is one of them. You know, Rahm is one of them. Scheffler is normally another one of them. They know how to, even if they're not winning, they know how to have a big day on the final round to still collect a huge paycheck and come out with big money. And Spieth is like a master of it. He does it more than almost anyone. Rory is another one. Rory did it last year in the Masters. He was nowhere to be seen, has a massive last round, holes out from the 18th bunker, and I think he came top 5 and cashed out huge. So, like, people don't realize when you're watching at home, like, people are just betting on the winner and just watching the final 2 guys. But, like, the amount of money that these guys are collecting, if they have a big day,
yeah, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars they're winning.
Phil Mickelson to show up and shoot 7 under on his final round, tied for second overall. And then not only that, like, the Live Golf had him, Patrick Reed, and Koepka all in the top 5.
Yeah.
Phil just looked like an old James Bond villain.
Yeah.
With the sunglasses, the aviator, the way he was walking around, he just reminded me like an old James Bond villain.
Patty on the ass.
He was wearing those aviators like he was a young Joe Biden.
He was wearing aviators in the
like
rain. It was rain. It was pouring rain with clouds, and he was wearing the aviators. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where a lot of experience comes to play, man. I mean, not many people know. Joey actually probably knows now, but playing golf 4 days in a row, man, is taxing.
Oh, listen, I played 9 holes last Friday, and I thought I fucking went 12 rounds with Tyson. I was tired. I came home. I was like, I'm not even going to go to the gym. That was a workout. I'm tired.
Imagine, too, that it's not just playing a regular round with your boys. Like, every putt, every shot is so intense. And then you think of the conditions they were playing in.
Yeah.
Wind and rain and fucking, it was terrible for.
And these guys aren't in carts either, right? They're walking the whole thing. Yeah. That's wild. That's a big.
I mean, they're not carrying their bag, but yeah, they're walking.
Yeah, they're not, but even still, though, that's a lot of walking to do. That's a lot of walking.
Augusta's very hilly too, from what I understand.
It is, man, but it just shows the experience in a guy like Phil. Like, sure, he's not in the top 10 after the first day, but he knows to pace himself. He knows what it's going to take to do 4 days, 4 rounds of golf. He knows what it's going to take. And a lot of these guys gas themselves out in the first couple of days just to make the cut. And then, there Phil is in the top 5.
Wild.
A lot of respect for John Rahm, though, man. This guy's a fucking robot. I mean, he's him and Scheffler are just. Like, I just feel like they're just on another tier, him and Scheffler. When I watch them, they're too automatic. Everything just is so automatic. Like, I tweeted out something. He hit a bunker shot. I think it was the 14th on the final round, and he hit a bunker shot, Rahm. And I was like, that didn't even look like it was real. It looked like it was like a video game, like how perfect of a shot it was. And it's just, I'm like, bro, can I just tee the ball off like myself, talking about myself? Like, I just would like to get into a ball and stripe one off the tee. That would be nice. Just once, be good. But
and I'd like to as well, Mikey.
Yeah. Frustrating, man. These guys, all the credit in the world. I think I'm more impressed now with watching these guys, how consistent they are, than like now I'm going to watch football and be like, I mean, the guy, what did he do? He fucking ran fast. So what? If you got God's gift to run fast, you could run fast. I don't care what God gave you. You're not going to just go pick up a golf club and fucking strike a ball down the center of the fairway. It's not going to happen. So,
but not only that, it's like these guys can shape shots. They can.
That's what I mean. That's so involved.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy. I'm just trying to strike the ball where these guys are thinking that they're
playing tomorrow. Ticket.
What's this?
You're playing tomorrow?
playing tomorrow, and it's going to be
Oh, you
rough.
gotta be excited about that.
It's going to be a long, long day. But now, what I'm more interested in is, Mikey, have you pulled another club out of the bag other than the pitching wedge?
Yeah, I played 9 last Friday.
You
I played
played
9 holes
Gary.
last Friday. Yeah.
How did it feel?
It felt great. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. It was a great time. Went with a great group of guys. On my short game was my putting and my chipping was fine. But driving and irons is just I hadn't hit my driver ever. I hadn't hit that driver ever. So for me to just go on the course and think that things were going to work out was a misstep. It was a misstep.
I tell you
So
what, when I see
I plan
someone
on going to the range this weekend.
when I
Get
see
some range
someone
work in.
who is just starting to play and they're connecting with their wedges well and they're putting well, that's a guy who's got a great future with the game. When I see
Yeah.
a guy who can just launch it, but then he's a mess around the greens, he's blowing putts by. I'm not saying it's you, Joe, but I'm just saying that is a really good sign for things to come because the rest will come. But when you've got that touch around the greens with the wedges and the putter, man,
Yeah, we were messing around at the end. We were doing like closest to the pin, chipping it from not from the rough, but like I guess the first cut right off the green. And we were doing closest to the pin. And the first one, we were doing that for a little bit of money, and I actually won the first one. And I was like, all right. And even everybody else was like, all right, Mike, that's what I'm talking. That's really fucking good. And I was like, yeah, I mean, and it wasn't beginner's luck because then we were just fucking around for like 30 minutes, just chipping balls closest to the pin, and I was consistent with that. That was the one area I was consistent in, but. Driving and irons, bro, I need a lot of work. A lot of work.
Yeah, it's a long process, Mikey. It's not going to happen overnight.
No.
but as long as we're talking about the Masters, did you guys see the baseball game the other day where the White Sox announcer he played the Masters music? He was playing the classic Masters music, and he did the ninth inning.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Minutes.
wasn't it it was not a major league baseball game. I thought it was like a I don't know, like a double A or triple A game.
Oh yeah, it was a minor league game. It was a minor league game.
No, okay.
That was
Yeah. I mean, listen, the Masters, it should take. I mean, I think everybody and their mother talks about. I think it takes precedent over any other sport. See, golf is very smart because all the majors, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, really, they're all like the big ones are squeezed in. The Masters comes at such an opportune time in the sports season. There's no playoffs of any sports going on. Baseball just started. Nobody gives a shit. Basketball isn't in the playoffs yet. Yes, it's the playoff push, but still nobody gives a shit. Hockey's not in the playoffs yet. Football's not existent at the time. It is the most opportune time where they get all eyes on golf, yeah. I think. So, I mean, for that guy, that's a heady play, I think. And I think that's very creative and it's good. I listened to it. I thought it was funny.
It's a very nice touch. It's a nice touch. Well, speaking of the NBA playoffs, man, we're getting going here. And I've told Joe this a couple of times, man. I can't stomach pro basketball anymore. I love college basketball. I think it's one of the best games around. I'd probably put it number 2 under NFL. I love it. There's something about the pros, man. It's just a 3 fest in the game that I grew up loving and the game that my dad used to tell me about. It's just not the same. But that being said, NBA playoffs are here, and what are you thinking, Joey D? What are you thinking?
I think it's going to be. I don't know what you. I've been enjoying watching the NBA lately. I watched that Lakers game the other day. It went to overtime. It was exciting. It had a lot of fucking. It had an epic finish. I also bet the Lakers live, which I hit, so that made me more happy. But I think the NBA is. I think they're getting a lot of slack, but I like the play-in tournament. They have kind of like this built-in semi-playoff environment before the playoffs start, and it gives more teams an opportunity to come in backdoor into the NBA Finals. And again, last night there was another good game, Oklahoma and New Orleans. I'm excited for the playoffs for NBA. I think the Lakers are going to make a push. I think Phoenix. If you look at it, I think Phoenix with adding Kevin Durant, and you have Devin Booker, and you have Chris Paul, and you have DeAndre Ayton, you have all these guys. I mean, they to me have got to be the favorite. I know a lot of people still like the Warriors, but to me, with a guy like Durant, I think the Suns are going to be the team to beat this year in the NBA playoffs. And on coming out of the East, I think the Celtics. I'm not just trying to take chalk, but the Celtics look really fucking good. Jaylen Brown is balling. But who knows, Tick? What do you like? You like your Sixers? Do you think they have a shot?
It's the only basketball I can watch is the Sixers. Joel Embiid's he's having a magical season. I mean, it really has been something fun.
Has it been magical for him?
He's been
been
so good, yeah.
Has it? Yeah, I'm asking seriously.
Oh,
I'm not breaking balls.
He's been good every year.
He's had an MVP.
I know he's good every year. Yeah.
He's had an MVP season, man. I mean, he had one last year too, but he got beat out, probably rightfully so. I'm not going to sit here and argue that, even as a Sixers fan. But this year, man, I think he's got a good shot at winning it. I feel like
I think Jokic wins it.
They still lean Jokic. They love Jokic. I don't know what it is. They've got a hard on for Jokic. No matter what Embiid can
he's really
do.
fucking good, Dick.
No matter what Embiid can do, he's never going to win it as long as Jokic is around. And it's through no fault of his own, through no fault of his play. It's just ridiculous. But I mean, like I said, man, even the Sixers, I'm just every year it's worse and worse. I'm having a harder time stomaching the game of professional basketball.
Yeah. I mean, I put out a poll on Twitter and on Instagram the other day, and I was like, on like the excitement scale, how excited are you for the NBA playoffs? And got like around like 5,000-6,000 votes, and the highest vote getting was, I'd rather watch. The response there was like, I would rather watch anything else. Neutral, somewhat interested, very interested. The highest vote getter was, I'd rather watch anything else, and it was by like a 12 to 14% margin. Yeah. And like very interested was the lowest voted thing. Very interested.
I'm watching.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess unless I don't have a team, a dog in the race. So I mean, I really could care less. I mean, I'll bet it, but other than that, I really don't have much of an interest in it. I know Durant with Phoenix, but I don't know, man. CP3, is he still playing right? I don't know. He's like cursed. I don't know if they could win it. Boston
are not an NBA. I'm interested. Like, what about the game? Can you not stand that right now? Like,
I just can't take the three fest, man. I mean, it is walk down, heave a three. We're shooting it from logos now.
No defense,
no defense whatsoever. Yeah. That's why the Sixers are fun to watch, actually, because they throw it down into Embiid, and they've got a powerful player. He reminds me of a guy when I was growing up, but most teams don't have a guy like him. And it's just this three fest. Like Mikey said, you can drive the lane. No one's playing defense. Everyone's afraid to get a foul. It's just, I can't watch it. If you tell me the NBA season's starting, I'm more likely to watch the beginning of the baseball season, a game that means nothing. I'm going to watch the beginning of the NBA season. I mean, I'm falling back into baseball just because of how bad basketball is. I just find it's just not interesting to me.
College basketball is so much better than
college basketball is where it's at.
So much better. It's so much better. Like that. And
they play hard-nosed defense.
Well, there's real coaching too. I mean, try telling a guy making $30 million a year to fucking go do something. I mean, you see LeBron now. He brings out the chair. He's sitting there. He's telling the team what to do. The coach is nowhere to be found. In college, it's not like that. These kids listen to them. I mean, maybe it'll change now that they're starting to make a little bit of money, but right now, college basketball is far superior than anything.
Yeah, I agree. But I'll root for the Knicks. I hope the. No, I mean, no, yeah. I mean, I'm really a Nets guy, but I was a Nets guy when they were in New Jersey. So when they moved to Brooklyn, I kind of was like, all right, that's bullshit, because I was a big Jason Kidd, Kenyon Martin, Kerry Kittles, that group of. I grew up, rooting for that Nets team that just unfortunately lived and played in the same era as the Duncan Spurs and the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. They weren't beating those teams, but they were a great team. And they played defense, and Kidd distributed the ball. And it wasn't just all threes. It was Kenyon Martin down on the block. Kittles would shoot a little bit. Keith Van Horn. Like they were a fun team.
Carter for a while too there.
Vince Carter came a little bit later, but yeah, that was a fun team. Jason Kidd was awesome. He was one of my favorite players to watch. He was a master passing the basketball, just unbelievable. Like Stockton, he was just incredible.
Yeah.
All
right, old days, man.
So Joey D, do you give my Sixers any shot against the Celtics?
Is that the first round matchup, Sixers Celtics?
No, I mean I think it's going to come down to.
I was going to say I don't think it was.
We're taking the Celtics.
I think Embiid can be an X factor for sure. Yes, I do think they have it. I mean, everybody has a shot. I seen
Embiid could put up like 40 a game.
Yeah, Embiid. I mean, listen, I think for you, you know what it comes down to? It's not necessarily Embiid because he normally plays well. James Harden needs to keep playing well for you guys to have a chance. If James Harden can play the way that he can play, it opens up things for guys like Tyrese Maxey. It opens up things for other like contributors, and it makes them a very dynamic team. But if James Harden is not playing, I mean, I've seen him where he's the best player on the court, and I've seen him where he is non-existent. That to me is going to be, if I'm just looking at it and being objective, that to me is going to be dictating how far you guys go this year. If you can get James Harden to play like I've seen play some games this year, you guys have a chance for sure.
Harden at his best is a sight to behold. Because I watch it in Brooklyn. When he played at his top level, he would single-handed, like he didn't need Durant or Kyrie Irving. He could just do it completely by himself. And that makes it even more insulting that the Nets could not win a title with those three guys. God. Just embarrassing. But three guys who are their personalities, they're just way too toxic, all three of them.
Tyree's
Tyree's he's volatile. He's so volatile. And I have no issues with his personal beliefs, nothing like that. Whatever you believe in and whatever you want to support, you support. But he's just so sometimes you listen to him talk, he just sounds like he's out of his fucking mind. He's crazy. But
Dallas paid a king's ransom for him, and
they're not even in the playoffs. Yep.
Guy was toxic, man. Toxic.
Yep. And that James Harden, that's the guy we thought we were getting, but he's not been the same guy, man. He goes on these streaks and runs, and he's always been a little bit like that. But those downtimes are a lot longer than they used to be, man. And a lot of people think he's the reason we fucking lost when we did last year. He just didn't show up. He's putting up 40 shots a game. He's making 15% of them, and he's costing us games. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, man. I have no hopes for them. I think they're going to run into the same buzzsaw they have been the last couple of years in the Celtics. I really do.
Yeah.
They're going to let me down again, and then I'm watching a game I don't even like to watch a team that I love lose. So what's the point?
Yeah.
All right, boys. Moving on to football. I mean, I think we're all chomping at the bit, waiting for this thing to come back. We're looking for things to talk about, but there are a few stories out there, and one of which is OBJ is now with the Ravens.
Oh, God.
Going to mean that Lamar's sticking around. What does this tell us about Lamar's situation, the Ravens, and is this a good signing? Mikey V, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, I think I said last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, that I do think Lamar ultimately stays in Baltimore. This was before they got OBJ. Listen, OBJ was going to be a New York Jet. That's where OBJ was going to go play. The Ravens came in at the 11th hour and made an offer that he couldn't refuse, would never refuse, and that the Jets, quite frankly, hats off to them for not falling for that bait. $15 million guaranteed for Odell Beckham Jr. right now it's a preposterous deal. It's a preposterous deal. I understand what OBJ has done in the past. He has not played football since the Super Bowl of 2 years ago, right? He has not played in a football game since they played the Cincinnati Bengals, the Rams, in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. To think that this guy's going to come back and he's going to burn people down the field and he's going to be the same OBJ that you saw glimpses of in Cleveland a little bit, and then some splash stuff with the Rams. I'm not going to deny that he came on strong at the end with the Rams. He did. He also had Stafford, and, he had a very good team around him that won the Super Bowl. He had Cooper Kupp, which, opens it up for anybody. Baltimore doesn't have a Cooper Kupp. Baltimore doesn't have anybody even close to a Cooper Kupp playing alongside him. Mark Andrews is going to be covered by a safety. He's going to be covered by a linebacker. So the corners can still, if they choose to, on the opposing defense, focus everything they want on OBJ, which I don't even think they're going to really have to do. I'll give Baltimore some credit. They needed to give Lamar somebody, and in name, they gave Lamar a really big player, which they've never done before at the receiver position. They've never done it. So I'll give Baltimore.
Yeah, but the price was not right.
The price was not right. The price was wrong, bitch. The price was wrong.
Listen, and Rashad Bateman is probably their number one, but I don't know.
Rashad Bateman got a lot to prove, though. Cuts. This is his second year. He's still got a way to go.
I do like him too, though.
My point is he's probably their number one, but he's not going to draw number one coverage over. No. Is what I'm trying to say. So no. You're still OBJ is going to have to fight for everything he gets. He's going to have to scratch and claw his way to get open. And a lot of times they're probably going to put one of their best corners on him just to try to take him out of the game early.
And let's remember this too. OBJ is coming off now his second major knee injury. This is not his first major knee injury. He got I forgot what I know the ACL blowout was in the Super Bowl. And then he had another ACL blowout with the Browns against the Cowboys. If I'm not mistaken, it was the Cowboys game.
Yes.
So OBJ is coming off his second major injury. I don't know. I forget how old he is. I believe he's 30, right? I think he cracked 30.
He's about 30 or
Once you're over 30, listen, I saw it in Chicago with Allen Robinson. Once he got close to 30 and peaked over 30, these receivers, man, it's kind of like running. They take a little bit of a nosedive, like the window. And that's why the NFL is the most incredible sport, because the window of success is so fucking small, because these guys, the mileage put on these guys' body and the token that it takes for a player that's hit consistently or has to sprint out of a break consistently, it's just the window closes very quickly. I think OBJ's window is closed. That's my personal opinion. But the Ravens are willing to fucking gamble on it. And again, I think they had to do it to satisfy Lamar, maybe a little bit more than they actually wanted OBJ.
How many touchdowns would you put his line at for the season?
Listen, touchdowns, he could get a ton, right? He could get touchdowns, but
how about total yards then?
Yeah, yards I think is more realistic thing. I'd say what do you think?
600 yards?
I think that's right, exactly where I'd put it. 600 yards. I think that's exactly right where I would put it. I was thinking 6 or 7, under 7, right around there, I think. And
I think if he starts getting 700 yards, that starts getting closer to 1,000-yard territory. That'd be a good season.
Yeah, listen, you're going to play 17 games now. Is he going to start every game? He's not going to get dinged up at all. He's not going to miss a game here or there. I don't think that's going to happen either. I hope he has a healthy season, but I just cannot see him being the type of dominant player that, should get 15 million guaranteed. But then again, they're handing 20 million a year out to receivers left and right. It's kind of just what the market dictates. So
if I'm Lamar, I'm almost a little upset with that situation. A guy who's been clamoring to get paid for a while now, you're giving a guy who's not a great weapon anymore, used to be. You're giving him old market value. You're not giving him new market value, and he can't get anything.
That's his boy. I think that's his boy, so he doesn't really give a shit, and he's happy.
Front office about it.
I think Lamar is just, the Ravens are going to be in such a bad spot. They're in such a bad spot because they can't pay anybody. Every time they pay anybody, Lamar is going to think that. Lamar should have thought that when they gave $100 million to Roquan Smith, an off-ball fucking inside linebacker.
Another guy. That's a
guy. That's just. I understand he was really good, but again, it's just, I don't know what and Baltimore is usually such a well-run organization. This offseason and coming out of last season has been baffling a little bit. They're kind of shitting the bed a little over in Baltimore. And again, that window is closing rapidly. I think it's closing rapidly.
Yeah, it's really difficult to sort of evaluate what OBJ is going to be, man, because like you said, one knee injury, okay, he came back. He was not the same guy, but he was still very effective. Why was he effective? He had guys like Cooper Kupp around him. He had a lot of good pieces around him. He had an elite quarterback throwing him the football, and the defense had to spread themselves thin to cover everybody. Now you got a second knee injury. Now you're on a team with the only other guy, like you said, he still needs to prove himself, but it's Rashad Bateman, and I really like him. And so it's going to really be up to him to step up this year when everyone's trying to go get Mark Andrews, when everyone's trying to go get OBJ. It's going to be up to him to really step up in that running game, to really step up. But to evaluate OBJ, certainly the money's not right, but could he still be a very impactful player? I think he does have it in him. I really do. A year off of football is tough too, but is it more likely that he's going to end up not being anywhere near what they want and more importantly, what they need? I think yes.
Yeah, you never know. Baltimore may use their first round pick and they may go out and take one of these wide receivers. Even though you're hearing a lot of pre-draft talk now that the grades on these wide receivers keep dipping by the day, and that now they're saying that the only one who has a first round grade on them anymore is Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's not going to be there probably for the Ravens to pick. So they could still, they may take the TCU kid who's a huge physical specimen, reminds me of like a Kevin White type. Obviously has a little bit more to his resume than Kevin White does, hopefully not the injury problems. They could go with the kid Addison out of USC. They could go with Zay Flowers out of Boston College. So if he's there, if one of those guys is there, so maybe that's their long-term plan is bring in OBJ, see what you can get out of him 1 year, try and win now. You got Mark Andrews, you got Bateman, draft a rookie wideout, and maybe they'll roll with those 3 wideouts. And that's not a bad trio. If they could get one of those top rookie guys and they pan out, then you got a pretty decent trio if OBJ's your 3. But I think OBJ's a 3 right now where it stands with his health. I think he's a 3 on most any team in the league. I really do. Yeah. I think he's just, he's old and banged up and a year away from the game, over a year away from the game. He played in February of 2022 was the last time.
The other underlining factor that we haven't discussed too is this guy is kind of toxic, and he kind of is a pain in the ass. It's not like you're bringing a veteran leader into the locker room. Let's not forget the shenanigans he had in the offseason when they had to remove him off the fucking flight because of all that bullshit. He's had issues wherever he's went. I mean, the least of issues he's had was with Cleveland, but he still caused issues with Baker Mayfield. He was a disaster in New York towards the end of his career, kicking fucking the field goal nets and throwing tantrums.
The dog peeing.
I don't know sometimes, like, if you take into account the price tag on him and then his injuries, and then you look at the fact that you're bringing in a guy who brings a lot of baggage. To me, this is just a terrible sign. It's just not where it needed to be. I think there's a lot of other guys they could have gone out and gotten who could have made an impact and they could have paid less and could have been more valuable to the team. But who knows? Happy for him. That's all I could say.
Happy for him. He's got the same mentality of I'm not going to say he's that bad, and I hate to do the comparison, but he is of the same ilk as Antonio Brown. He is capable of throwing his pads off in the middle of a game and storming off if he doesn't feel like he's being treated right. And if you're the Ravens, you just got to know that that's the kind of guy you got. And on the other side of that coin, you also got a guy who almost positively will get injured at some point in the season. Maybe it won't be serious. Maybe it'll only be a game or two, but he will. He'll miss a game this season.
He made that one-handed catch. That was it. That one catch solidified his entire career. I mean, it's
listen. I'm not gonna downplay the kind of player he was with New York. I mean, he was the type of guy who could catch a inside slot route and house it. I mean, he was that dude at that point. Yes, that catch obviously elevated him to a different height of hype, but he was a stud. But the thing is that he allowed many things, I think, to kind of veer him off course. I think he should have stuck it out in New York. I mean, I don't understand why he couldn't just, bear down and just deal with it in New York. Tough media, I know that, but it's just he is. I don't know. I don't think he's the biggest head case as AD. And everyone will tell you different stories. The Rams will tell you that he was a great locker room guy. That's what people in the Rams will tell you. It's all about the environment and the culture of the team. It's easy to be a good locker room guy. And it's easy to be well-liked in an organization that's about to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And in a team that's got an Aaron Donald. Because OBJ, when he went to the Rams, you're not the superstar when you walk in the door of the Rams. And maybe when he walked in the door in Cleveland, he was the guy. When he walked in the door in New York, he was the guy. Walking in the door for Los Angeles, Donald is the guy. Aaron Donald is the guy there, and Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford at the time. And now he goes into Baltimore, and hopefully Lamar is the guy, and maybe that takes a little pressure off of him, and he performs. But I think it's all about where are you at the time, and what is the organization like at the time. And he got lucky. He got his ring. I mean, he got a ring, and a lot of guys can't say that. So he has that to show, and that's incredible. So
yeah, it's easy to be a leader when you're around a lot of other leaders. It's easy to set an example when other people are setting the example first. And in New York, in Cleveland, he was sort of looked to be that vet guy, the guy who was the stud of the team, and he couldn't hack it. And in Los Angeles, like you just said, Mikey, eloquently, it was easy there. And let's see how he does.
Yeah, they had Ramsey too.
They had Ramsey.
Yeah, he's another nut
that
job.
Guy's
Ramsey.
another nut job.
Now Miami stole him. I don't think he's going to play at the same level that we may be accustomed to, but that's still a great signing. Miami's secondary is filthy. Miami went all in on defense. Xavier Howard, and then this kid Javon Holland from Oregon, their safety. This kid could flat out ball. This kid Javon Holland. They are loaded in the secondary, Miami, and this is another team that I think recognizes that the window is right here. You gave away all your draft picks. They don't have draft picks. They kind of went the Rams route, only in the AFC. They went the Ram route to get Tyreek Hill and now to get Ramsey. And they're putting all their eggs in this basket. So they're they're relying on Tua, not
didn't they get a linebacker or inside lineman too? Was it from the Rams? They got Malcolm Floyd, or no? Who did they get? They signed a big guy in the offseason.
Well, last year they had signed Bradley Chubb from Denver. They traded Denver, so that's what I mean. That all their picks, they've used a lot of picks. They retained their left tackle that they were trying to keep. They kept him. They are a team that's all in. The only thing that frightens me to death is I don't know how you could be a Miami Dolphin fan right now and watch Tua Tagovailoa drop back in the pocket and not worry every single time he does it that if he takes a hit, you got to hold your breath because is this guy going to get up off the floor? He's got more concussions than Wayne Krebet. I mean, this guy is just beat up. and if he catches another one, it's going to be a long year for Miami. Desperately needs to make sure that that's the route they want to go because they are an ultimate win now team. That they're built to win right now.
They should have gone there. They should have tried to get Aaron Rodgers because you think with you think with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Oh, of course, that's a great team, of course. But I just think they're on a different trajectory than to get him right. I don't think they were anywhere near in a position to try and get him.
I'm saying if you want to win now,
he's still in Green Bay. It could still happen.
Nah, he's got his foot out the door.
It's been a while now, Joseph. It's been.
Yeah, I think I can't see a world where he doesn't end up with the Jets. I just cannot. I cannot see that happening. I really can't. I would be shocked.
Those talks have gone very cold.
Yeah.
How do you know, Dick?
I've been reading it. I was reading it on Instagram. They haven't talked in a long time.
For the Jets GM to publicly say in front of a New York sports media gathering that Aaron Rodgers is coming and don't worry about it. Last Friday, this guy said that. For him to say that not even a week ago, GMs usually don't talk like that. Like GMs in the NFL usually don't show their cards like that. I would be absolutely shocked if this guy doesn't end up in New York.
If there's one team to fuck this up, though, wouldn't it be the Jets? If there's one team out there to fuck it up,
some would say, but I got to say the Jets are doing. Listen, can you really make fun of the Jets right now? I mean, the Jets just drafted the offensive rookie of the year, the defensive rookie of the year. Their defensive rookie of the year looks like he's going to be the next fucking. Looks like he's going to be the next Darrell Revis.
Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner is unbelievable.
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall was in the running.
Hall getting hurt was
Brees
terrible.
Hall, and by the way, Brees Hall probably would have won Offensive Rookie of the Year if it wasn't for his injury, but instead it didn't matter because they still have Garrett Wilson and he won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
And you would have won fantasy football if he didn't get hurt.
That's also true.
I do believe that. The second he got hurt, I was like,
Paul was on a fucking tear.
He was on a heater.
You know what fucked me in fantasy football was I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to because he's a dear friend of ours. But the way they manage these quarterbacks towards the end of the year, and this guy was playing. Josh Allen was playing hurt last year. Nobody could tell me anything different. Josh Allen, when he had that UCL injury, once he got injured. He was not the same Josh Allen that I'm accustomed to seeing. He's not. He wasn't. He just wasn't. And, because I'm used to seeing a guy who was in that shootout with Mahomes in the playoffs 2 years ago who could go toe-to-toe with any quarterback in the NFL. He was hurt last year. There's not a single doubt in my mind. We know he was hurt. He tried to play through it, and I think it affected him a little bit. And I'm hoping for a big bounce back for Josh this year. I think he will, but that hurt. That hurt. And then just the way they manage the quarterbacks towards the end of the year, it's tough.
Yeah, I think we're all hoping Josh comes back, and I think you probably just weren't watching if you didn't think that Josh Allen wasn't hurt towards the end of that season.
Yeah.
He wasn't the same guy.
Not the same guy.
Not the same guy whatsoever. All right, boys, let's get into one more topic before we get into these viewer questions, which is, it's going to be Mikey V's favorite. Jake Paul, Nate Diaz, Big matchup.
You know what, man? You know what, bro? How many times are we going to fucking ring this bell? How many times can we watch this guy fight a washed-up UFC guy in a boxing ring? It is so... This guy went from maybe... Listen, he finally fought a boxer. He finally fought a real boxer in a boxing match. He fucking lost to Tommy Fury because Tommy Fury was the better fighter because Tommy Fury's boxed his whole life, okay? Like I said he would. And now he regresses and goes and fights a guy who that's not. Why would you take? You're taking one step forward, two steps back, Jake. Why? Why? Your trajectory. I actually was gaining a little respect for Jake Paul. I
still think Nate Diaz can win this fight.
No.
You don't think he can win this?
No, because I got to tell you, I thought Paul didn't look terrible against Tommy Fury, and Tommy Fury's a young, talented boxer. Now he's going to go up against fucking Nate Diaz, who's fucking 100 years old.
The one thing about Nate Diaz, though, that is unlike anyone else he's fought, including Tyson Fury, is
Tommy Fury. If he fought Tyson Fury, he would be fucking 6 feet under. Tyson Fury would have ended everybody's problem.
That would have ended
everybody's problem.
But Nate Diaz is a dog, man.
There's no question. There's no question about that.
That guy will not. There will be no way I'm picking him to win that fight.
Yeah, I would too.
It's a dog.
He's not going to roll over Mikey.
I'm telling you right now, this is a fight that Jake Paul won't lose. This is, if it's not fixed, it's extremely skewed in the favor of Jake Paul, and that's exactly how Jake Paul wants it.
Yeah, that's how he likes it. I agree. I've been telling Bob and Cuts for a long time, ever since the first Jake Paul fight, whoever that was, like 6, 7, maybe even a year ago now, that I was like, this is totally fixed, man. They're going to make more money losing to him because of how much money he has than winning the fight. And I thought they were fixed from the beginning, but then he finally lost to Tommy Fury, and it made me feel like maybe they aren't fixed. And if you're going to fight a guy like Nate Diaz, man, you better be fucking ready, because I don't care how old this guy is. He's like Kimbo Slice. This guy's a backyard. He is. He is a fucking
I remember what happened to Kimbo, bro. He lost to Phil Petrozzulli. And that kid had purple hair, and he looked skinnier than the Jet, and he just fucking knocked Kimbo out. It was insane. I remember that. I'll never forget that. That was wild. But
Kimbo was
Jake Paul, Nate. Listen, I don't know. Nate's got screws loose too. So if if Jake Paul does something stupid, I would love nothing better than Nate Diaz to get disqualified, but in the process, just rip Jake Paul apart. I would love that. But I don't know. Of course, I'm going to be a sucker and buy it. I mean, I'll be a sucker like everyone else. I'll buy it. I'll write it off on the LLC because I'll put it on Instagram, and then I'll enjoy the fight. And But again, one step forward for Jake, a little respect gained. I really, really, honestly respected him a lot more after the Tommy Fury fight. And then this week, I saw the fucking graphic for the Nate Diaz fight. I threw my hands up in the air. I said, this guy's the same fucking clown I thought he was 3 years ago. I understand he trains very hard. He works out. Congratulations. You have any fucking kids or any responsibilities. You're a YouTube star. I can give two fucks about how hard it is. I get it. But stop fighting guys who aren't in your sport. Start fighting guys who are boxers, man. If you're going to box boxers, not fucking retired UFC fighters. And if you want to do something impressive, challenge Nate Diaz to fucking 3 rounds in the octagon, Jake Paul. How about that? Let's take on Diaz in the octagon under UFC rules.
You get killed.
So what? Have some guts.
I'll tell you who will be ordering the fight is our dear friend Bobby Berger.
Because he's a closet Jake Paul fanboy. He's a closet Jake Paul.
You know why? Is Bob sees Jake Paul and he sees Logan Paul as these YouTube guys, and he has these visions of grandeur where he sees partially himself in an opportunity to rise to like magnificent fame. Not that Bob would ever fight.
Could you imagine?
It's a door opener for Bob.
I could see Bob trying to get like a pay-per-view event where he takes on Chuck Liddell in pickleball. Like he challenges Chuck Liddell to a pickleball pay-per-view and puts it on Bob Does Sports. And I tell you what, probably get a lot of buys.
It'd probably be the end of Bob as well.
Sell it out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. That's good. That's good, man.
Oh, so fucking funny.
All right, let's get into the viewer questions and get out of here, boys. First one is coming from Matt. Questions for all the boys. I'm a Kings fan. I believe he's talking about the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, Sacramento.
Oh,
Kings
good
fan,
team.
yeah, who gets to watch playoffs for the first time in 17 years. Do we have any thoughts on the Kings' chances this year to win a round or two? Bear down.
They're playing the Warriors first round, aren't they?
And
Are they playing the Warriors?
Yeah, they're gonna
take the Warriors, or did we take the Kings?
They're gonna get knocked out by the Warriors. I hate to rain on this young man's parade. I understand Sacramento's the 3 seed, but if they play the Warriors, if they play the Warriors first round, they're gonna get knocked out.
I don't know if they will.
Okay.
Sabonis is unbelievable down low. I don't who's going to take him. I guess they put Draymond on him, or they put maybe Kevon Looney on him. But like Sabonis is legit, and
De'Aaron Fox is one of the most underrated players in the league because he plays in Sacramento.
And they have Tyrese Halliburton, which is another great.
Halliburton's incredible too.
They have some good players. Don't sleep on the Sacramento Kings.
That being said,
Warriors.
I do think the Warriors are going to
win. They are. I feel bad for the Sacramento Kings guy, but I mean, because it sounds like me when you say things like, I haven't seen my team in the playoffs. That's like what Bears fans say when the Bears make the playoffs once every 10 years.
I will say this. Back in the day, the Sacramento Kings were a fun watch. When they had
Mike Bibby
Mike Bibby, even when they had fucking White Chocolate, Jason Williams,
Vlade Divac,
Stojakovic. They had
Chris Webber.
Yep. They had what was the other guy? PJ oh my god, it's gonna drive me nuts. I can't remember now. But they had a fun team, and that stadium used to go bananas.
Yeah.
That stadium during the playoffs, they do the whiteout, and it would go nuts. It was. Yeah. I hope they beat the Warriors.
Basketball was really good then when that Sacramento Kings team was good. That was a really good era for basketball because that was Lakers against the Lakers and the Spurs. I mean, that was fucking great. These guys these days, like Ticket said, they're just soft, bro. They're just, and I'm not saying that like everyone's gonna be like, all right, Boomer, all right, Charles Barkley, whatever. Like, nah, bro. Like these guys they're not cut from the same cloth as those guys, man. They're not. Those guys were hard-nosed ballers. These guys are fucking, like Ticket said, chucking it up from fucking half court. Like Ray Allen could do that too, but he didn't fucking have to. What?
You imagine Shaq playing now like
that? Oh my God. He would
be shooting 30 free throws a game. They used to hack the shit out of him 2-3 times before they'd call a foul. Like that guy was getting absolutely fucking destroyed deep down in the paint.
Yep.
Nowadays, you can't guard anyone. It's unbelievable.
So at the end of the day, Matt, it sounds like no one's taking your team to.
I'll take the Kings.
Cuts is taking the Kings.
I'll take the Kings.
Taking the Kings? No way. I want to see you bet slip. I want to see your bet slip. You're taking the Kings.
I'm taking the Kings.
Give me the Kings. Give me the Kings.
All right, moving on to Steven. Hopefully he's got a better team than the Kings here. Steven Stew, question for Cousin Cutsy. When are you guys playing golf in Jersey, and what courses are you planning on playing?
Oh, well, we just made an announcement today that the Breezy Invitational will be hosted in New York at Patriot Hills Golf Course on June 9th. So the boys will, in fact, be there. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. Well, I guess today when the podcast comes out. So you could jump on and you can buy a ticket and come meet all of us. But I don't know. We might play another round while we're down there. While all of us are down there, we might play another round. But yeah, we will be there in June. And I'm itching for another New York visit. It's been too long. It's been over a year, Mikey V, since I came.
Now, Ticket. Is Ticket you're going to participate in Audi Club? You're going to do the whole 9, or?
I'll come. I'm not a Yankee fan. I won't, but I'll come.
That game last year.
I'll come as a guest. Oh, you tell me if I can come to Yankee Stadium? I'm not going to come to Yankee. It's one of the best stadiums in the country.
Oh, so you will support the home team?
No, but I'll eat the king crab. I mean,
well, that's no, yeah. I mean, so that golf course, Patriot Hill, is really it says New York, Rockland County, but that literally is like right above the last exit on the Garden State Parkway North. It's literally like a half hour from where I am in North Jersey. It's more Jersey than New York, really, in proximity. But yeah, no, and then it cuts. Maybe we get another round in, but that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be that weekend. Will be a lot of fun. A lot of good food, a lot of laughs, a lot of cocktails, a lot of tomfoolery.
I played last year up there. I played at a course called Essex County Country Club.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Which was super nice. Yeah, super high end. I went with Perez. It cost us quite a bit to play there, but the course was gorgeous.
I could get us on Essex County Country Club.
That place was really fucking nice.
Yeah, that's a beautiful course.
We'll be down there. Come visit the boys and buy a ticket and join the Breezy Invitational because we are going to be getting after it all day that day. That is going to be a banger. June 9th.
Mikey, these are wild days, Mikey. These are wild, wild days, and I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it.
No, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm excited. I'm excited that I'm excited that I don't have to golf at the Breezy Invitational. I'm happy that I'm just going to be with the boys and just shooting the shit and talking shit because I do want to just take it all in. I don't want to worry about how bad I'm playing. Like I'll leave that to like Dickie Gas and Fubi Lou. Like they're going to take it like Dick. Cuts, you've seen Dick. Like Dick is going to take this extremely seriously. So just be prepared because it's going to be a sight to behold. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, moving on to the next guy. We got Cam Walsh. Question for the boys. I know Joey's a big hockey guy. Wondering if you guys followed the college hockey NCAA playoffs at all. The games are absolutely electric. I know Mikey V will hate this, but I'm a Michigan fan. Go Blue. He didn't need to incorporate that.
The Frozen Four. Who won the Frozen Four this year? Minnesota or no? Michigan, right? Michigan men's won the national. Or was it Wisconsin?
I didn't actually watch any of it this year.
Was it Boston? I thought it was a Big Ten school that won it. I think Wisconsin might have won it.
Possibly. I think we're answering this young man's question right now that we clearly don't follow it.
No, I'm going to look it up. Frozen Four winner.
2020 is always good. I wouldn't be shocked.
Quinnipiac.
Oh, Quinnipiac. Yeah, they're always good too. Well, recently
they did beat Minnesota.
They beat Minnesota. Okay, yeah, I was going to say, yeah. And then I think Ohio State was in the Frozen Four, though, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't watch it even this year, but I will say NCAA men's hockey is awesome. And then the tournament is normally really good. And normally I'll catch a few games, but this year I did not get to watch it, unfortunately. But yeah, there's some good hockey.
I tell you what, metropolitan area professional hockey this year is a sight to behold. Islanders, Devils, and Rangers all made the playoffs.
They all made it.
All made the playoffs. The Rangers,
aren't the Devils and the Rangers playing one another in the first round of the playoffs?
I believe so. And let me tell you something, that is a very serious rivalry here, more than I really understood. Like my friends who are Devils fans hate the fucking Rangers, and my friends who are Rangers fans hate the fucking Devils.
Yeah, the Rangers, as of now, Rangers versus Devils is the first round.
Yeah, that's going to be a bloodbath. That'll be a bloodbath, that series. That'll be like, I don't watch hockey, I will watch that because that's going to be like so
hockey you got.
Are your boys Rangers fans or Devils fans?
It's like a split between the middle, honestly. I got a couple Rangers, like Nicky Juice is a big Rangers guy. But
is a lot of my Rangers guy?
Who?
Luna Lou, is he a Rangers guy too?
He don't watch it.
You don't give a shit?
No, he don't give a shit. But it's an even split. I'd say half my friends are Rangers, half of them are Devils, but they really cannot stand each other. Like they really they hate that opposing team.
So, more than like Jets and Giants?
Yeah, the Giants fans are kind of dismissive about the Jets, could care less. And the Yankees, Mets fans, it's always the same. My buddies who are Mets fans hate the Yankees, but me as a Yankee fan, I could give two fucks about the Mets. Like Mets. I don't even mind rooting for the Mets. I don't consider the Mets a rival. They play in the NL number one. We play in the AL. I never got into now when it's the Subway Series, obviously I'm rooting for the Yankees vehemently, like I would root against a rival, but I just am never I despise the Boston Red Sox. I loathe the Boston Red Sox. I don't feel that way at all about the Mets, but Met fans fucking hate the Yankees and Yankee fans for whatever reason.
Like the ugly
because we're so great.
It's the ugly stepsister syndrome.
Playoff hockey, though, you got it's as good as if you don't like baseball, you don't got to watch the regular season, but you got to watch the playoffs. And the same thing with hockey, man. Hockey playoffs are so much fucking fun. There is more
Parody.
there's more intensity and effort and will put towards one shift in hockey, just one shift, one line taking one shift, than a whole.
No, those guys are willing to die out
quarter
there.
of basketball, a whole basketball game. These guys put all out effort in one shift, one line shift, than an entire basketball game. I stand by it. Those guys are.
I agree with that, and I believe that, and I feel like professional football is kind of the same way. They only get really ramped up when it's like a close game or a divisional game, or it's towards the end of the season when the playoffs are on the line. But I think that's why I love college football so much, because before NIL and before it was all about money, and now it's kind of I'm seeing a little bit of a change in college football, and I hope it's not for the long run. Like the bowl games they're so meaningless now, some of these bowl games. Like, I hope it doesn't go that way, but college to me was the same way. It's like these guys are out there, and those kids like willing to just put it all out on the line. Like, they don't give a fuck. And the hockey, I always felt, was the same way. Like, those guys are nuts. Like, they will die on the ice. They do not give a fuck. I love it. Again, it's just so hard for me to watch regular season hockey because I don't have a team. But the NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs, I do enjoy like the playoff hockey. I will watch that.
Yeah,
to a degree.
Exciting. Super. And then when you have your team in it, like, this is the thing, Mikey B, like, I'm a Canucks fan. Like, when the Canucks were in the Stanley Cup Finals, there was like no one in the city was not watching those games.
Yeah.
Everyone, and the whole playoffs, it's just a different vibe, and everybody's just so jacked up and so excited. Like, it's the best. It really is.
Yeah, and that's much like college and much like high school football. I mean, when you go out to State College in Pennsylvania on College Football Saturday, there's 8 different radio stations carrying the Penn State game. When you go out to Texas during the high school Friday night lights, the whole town shuts down to go watch the game. Like, that doesn't happen. You know, this area, New York, is like, just things just go on. Like, nobody does that for fucking Rutgers, or nobody does that for, it's.
I grew up, we used to rent a whole RV, and there was some of my best friends and all my parents' families. There would be like 10 families, and we'd get like 2 RVs, and we'd go out to watch Penn State games every Saturday. And it was,
oh my God,
it was some of them. It was, I've just never seen fans like that. I mean, Philadelphia Eagles fans are close, but what these guys do for College Saturday at Penn State, and I know it's the same. My mom went to Ohio State. I went to Columbus for a couple of games there too. These college campuses, especially in big conferences like the Big 10, Big 12, all SEC, it's just nuts, and it's unrivaled what they do on Saturdays.
It's a different level. In Penn State, you roll out to that stadium in Happy Valley, and the stadium is up on like a hill, and it looks like a beacon of light. It looks like it looks like a house of worship, to be honest. It looks like you're going to a house of worship, and it's surrounded by farmland, and they're just cars parked there's just cars everywhere. They just have massive farmland areas to park your cars. And like Ticket said, there's just rows of RVs, and people are out there at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter if it's a 12 noon kickoff or an 8 p.m. kick. College football tailgating experience is one of the best things.
I've never done it.
Oh, Cuts. It's.
Have you been to a whiteout game?
Yeah, several times. I went to Ohio State at Penn State at night, wearing scarlet red, wearing my Ohio State jersey. I thought I was going to get killed. I thought I was going to get killed. We won the one that I went to, and we lost the other one that I went to. Actually, I went to 3. We won 2 out of the 3 night games. The one we lost was when Troy Smith got sacked by Tamba Ali, and that was the year Ohio State went and played Notre Dame and beat him in the Fiesta Bowl. That was 2005. So that was one of the craziest. That stadium literally shakes 105,000 people. You could feel the stadium buckle. Ticket can attest to it if he's been there for a night game. The stadium literally feels like it's buckling. It's frightening. It's actually scary.
I've never been there for a whiteout game, but it's so unfortunate that Penn State hasn't been able to keep up the consistency over the last 20, 30 years that Ohio State, Michigan has, and some of these other Big Ten schools, because those fans are just as intense as the Ohio State and Michigan fans.
They're diehards. They're
diehards, man. And, they've had some good years. They've had some bad years, and they can't stay consistent the way Ohio State does. But it's intense.
Well, I mean, they unfortunately, that situation with Paterno, and with the whole scandal there
Sandusky.
with the child, Sandusky, that whole situation really topsy-turvied them for a good number of years. I think they're actually back on track. Watch out for Penn State this year. Watch out for this kid, Drew Aller, their quarterback. He's a mega recruit, their quarterback, Drew Aller. Watch out for him and watch out for their running back. Penn State is going to be firmly in the mix this year. That kid, Aller, I'm telling you, Cutsy's gonna store this in his memory bank. I know he will. He'll be betting Penn State the first weekend. I'm telling you right now, this kid is going to be a superstar this season. This kid, Drew Aller. I'm scared that they're going to be a tough out for Ohio State this year. Thank God we play them in Columbus. We don't have to go into Happy Valley this year. We went there last year. Thank God. I would not want to go play them in the Valley this year. I wouldn't.
Well, 2 years from now you will. So, and he'll be one.
Hopefully he's to the NFL by then. Well, I don't even know if he'll be eligible, but hopefully he'll be gone because this kid's a fucking stud, man. I don't know why they didn't play him over Clifford. I think they gave it to Clifford out of respect, but this kid Aller's the real
It'd be
deal.
nice for Penn State for the first time in decades to have a quarterback who can throw accurately for more than 50 yards.
That's this kid, guys.
Finally.
Remember this day in fucking early April, what I'm telling you. This kid is going to be the real deal. He's going to be a tough fucking kid.
All right, well, you heard it here first. Look out for this kid in Penn State the next few years. And just to tie it all back to this kid's question, I used to watch the Frozen Four a lot, but I bet on BU a couple years ago when I was doing the stupid big ticket bets thing. I put so much money on a team that I followed marginally, but was told they were great. I told everyone to go bet it. I lost a lot of money. I took a lot of heat. I don't watch it anymore. I don't watch the Frozen Four anymore. I love it. I respect it, but that was a bad experience, bad taste in my mouth. Don't do it anymore. Just don't do it.
That'll do it.
And our final question. This is gonna be a long one, guys. Should we save it for next week?
Yeah, push it to next week.
Let's push it to next week. We'll save the next one. Mr. Anderson, roll this one over. It's a good one. It's a great question, but it's gonna take a while to answer.
It's a multi-part question.
It's not a multi-part question. It's just there's gonna be rambling. It's gonna be a big story. So we'll skip it. Just push it for next week. Put it on the rundown next week, Mr. Anderson, and we'll definitely get to it. That was another good one, man. That was a fun time. I especially towards the end. I think we really ramped it up. It was a good time, boys. Any last words?
Yeah, hopefully I get my voice back next week. I truly am the voiceless right now. Truly am.
He's the voiceless, roasted by Wendy.
Oh my God, bro! Did they body me or did they body me? I mean, swipe left. I thought I was one of the more attractive. I thought I was one of the more attractive guys on the show.
My favorite one was the Bobby one, where she goes, "Calling yourself Bobby Fairways would be like calling myself Wendy the Moon because you're in a place you've never been before."
Yeah, that was tough. And then what did she say about you, Joe? She goes, "You're the human version of cargo shorts or something like that."
Pants. And she says the only reason they call me cold cuts is because of my
slice. Yeah. So you guys got. I still think you guys got.
When did it held back?
Was that you, Mikey? Was that Joe? I've never laughed harder than when I heard someone say, "I've never seen a guy look like he's sweating."
That's me.
But he's not sweating.
That was me. She goes, "It looks like you're in a shower, but you're not in a shower."
The human version of a swipe left is what she said.
I tell you what, that was a low blow, man. That was, and listen, all power to Wendy. I would let Dave Thomas take a shit on my chest for a Wendy sponsorship. That's fine. But I mean, Wendy, I don't know. Am I really that bad? I guess
no, you're not. You're not. You're the rollback.
My wife had to talk me off the ledge after that. She was like, "No." It's like, all right.
All right, boys. Well, that was a blast, man. That was another good one. We keep getting better and better each week. That's another edition of the Sportsman, man. That's Joey D. That's Mikey V. And I'm the Big Ticket. We'll see you next week, folks.